question that we do have then is, so what we're really curious about are like production rates and yield.
Okay.
Like what are your thoughts on production rates? Like say you have 100 plants, like what would most efficiently yield and what would be approximate ratios? And initially, unfortunately, we're talking intoxicants. We're not initially going to go into trying to what I want to do in 10 years from now.
Okay.
What we're going to go into originally is what is going to sell as intoxicants commercially.
Absolutely. Money's in milligrams.
Money is what funds our belief system, in the future. I mean, and that's fine. We're okay with that. It's not our goal, but it's what will put gas in the engine along the way. So we need, so there's CO2 extraction systems. Butane isn't even a possibility. And there's distillation. I've always been thinking along the lines of distillation, but I mean, there's steam, and then, so the one where the steam passes through it and the one where it's boiling in the steam, alcohol recovery systems. Do we want to recover the alcohol? And, so that's sort of, and what are the yield and what realistically is the highest, where do we want to be for the highest yield bang for the buck?
Alcohol will derive everything from a plant. So if you get like the reading of a marijuana plant and they tested it to 18% THC, well, it just means that alcohol will take out that 18% THC. And everything else, waxes,
waxes, and carotenoids.
So that's why you're getting, instead of that 18% weight level. So just say hypothetically, in 1,000 grams of that plant material, you're getting 80% THC by weight value. You're going to get 18 grams out of that 1,000. Okay, because you're only getting an 18%.
Right. But that's going to include waxes.
Yeah, absolutely. See this? No, that's just the actual cannabinoid count, the weight of cannabinoid. Because when they run that through the GFI, basically what they're doing is when they flash it, they're picking up the flash of the cannabinoids and the CBGs, CBNs, or whatever they may be. So all the waxes, plants, and everything like that is not getting flashed. So you're not picking up those constituents.
Because when you're doing butane, you are taking everything, and then you're using alcohol, and you're separating.
They are, yeah. And because what they're doing is they're trying to turn the hydrocarbon back into a water base. You can't.
But I'm just saying what they're doing, because
they're trying to give the glaze. They're trying to lie to people.
Right. No, I mean, I won't do it. But I've seen it done, and I've seen what they produce, and it is perceived as more pure right now. However wrong that is, but it is perceived because the shatter and all of that, and the clearness of it, and and they don't, like, personally, I'm like, why would you not want it to have the plant taste to it? I love the plant taste, but like they want to remove all of the plant taste. They like the more plant taste it has, that's the waxes and the carotenoids and the chlorophylls and all that.
And they're easy to remove.
I know. So that's So that's the alcohol or the distillation. What part of that?
I would say it's all due to temperature. You've got to lock the plant up. So
that's the the cold part. So the cold part is not getting the waxes because they won't move in that phase?
They won't move. Especially if you're running the alcohol through a filter with the plant material in there and you've already got it in a fridge. When you're pouring that alcohol through that plant material and then it comes through the plant material, it's picking up cannabinoids on the way through. Depending on the temperature is how much cannabinoids are going to release, because the colder it is, the slower the release, because the alcohol and the plant material are working very slowly together, because the colder things are, atoms move slowly.
So what do you think of the concept of putting it in alcohol with dry ice in the alcohol?
No.
And then letting that sort of percolate?
No, definitely not. No. You're going to keep the plant material separate, alcohol separate, bring those to both equalization of the temperature, and whatever you're putting the plant material in, which I'll show you. I'll do a quick demo and show you. And then, it's temperature, man. The biggest thing is temperature improved in alcohol. If you can just remember those two things, that's what you need to do.
And do you just use methyl alcohol, or what do you?
That's just a simple extraction with the wheat, which I just did this morning. And
then how would you get that out?
Actually, I wouldn't dry that much. I only just did it like this so you can scrape a bit off. But normally I keep it in pretty much a liquid state, and it's like up a syringe, and then I put it in my dehydrators or whatever the process is when the vape happens. Yeah, that's the quality. That they're rated about 74%. So it's very low count, 74%. But see, the only way you're going to get that up high is by putting it through either 0.45 or 1 micron. So you're bringing down more plant and you're needing more room for cannabis.
So your equipment is going to deliver a wide range, because we also, like if we're doing food production versus pen production versus tincture production, all of them are different approaches.
Oh, absolutely.
So
see, this one here, this was a cold extraction of a whole plant. Roots, stems, leaves, everything. So I extracted out of just this lot here. But anyway, so I do my first extraction through critical cold, and then I do probably about 3 different runs on this, and it's probably got about 8 or 9 different pools. So
and it's actually boiling at that point.
No, it's actually cold.
It's cold, and you're using pressure.
I'm using my fridges. I have cryogenic fridges, and the fridges bring down the temperature to -80. And you don't need it that cold, but the colder the better. And then basically I have my plant material, my alcohol in the fridges, and then when it gets to temp, and then I just combine the both of them, and then I'll show you what I do next.
Okay. Yeah. Because what is unclear to me is whether you run whether you use heat or pressure to get the alcohol out of there, because that was alcohol that went into here.
Absolutely.
Then did you recapture it? Or did you
I recapture all my alcohol.
And so then you recapture the alcohol, and by pressure or heat?
Heat will just you're flushing you're breaking up the molecules of the alcohol. So the more alcohol you have, 172 degrees Fahrenheit is the boiling point of alcohol. The more water you have, the higher the temperatures. The higher the temperatures, the darker the oil, and the less of the greater the oil. So you want to try and have your alcohol pretty pure.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. 190.
So that's why the plant material is cold as well?
Cold and dry, yeah. No moisture. You don't want no moisture because that's your biggest killer for bringing chlorophyll.
So drier even than what they sell, probably.
Absolutely. I always dry mine out, bone dry, and then I powderize it.
Right.
Yeah. I powderize it just through a grinder or however it may be. But I'll show you a sample. Let's have a look. Sample there. So,
do you mind if I touch it?
here you go for it, brother. So,
and this is trim largely?
no.
Oh, you use flour.
I use it, no, the whole plant.
Okay.
I don't ask anyone to trim it. I just fucking straight through the.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper and faster.
Yeah, you don't have to pay trimmers. You don't have to pay nothing.
Yeah. Oh, I hear that.
Yeah, and that's and you get a better effect of the plant material when you're smoking it, because you're not just getting one slice of the effect. You're getting a synergy effect from the plant.
Right. So when you say one slice of the plant, you're saying
because when you look at how the plant is when you extract something from the plant. If you can just imagine what alcohol does, alcohol is non-selective. It will take everything. That's what alcohol does. It's if you leave a plant menstruating in alcohol, it will undo everything. Eventually, it will undo it all. And so, me saying that, so that's at the far end of the scale of what alcohol can do. Now, if you take that room temperature, sitting plant material in there and oscillating it, or moving with a frequency vibration where the particles are moving in the alcohol. Now if we go to the other end, that's going to be very dark racing green, sitting in like that. Now if we go to the other spectrum of 172 minus, where alcohol freezes, so it flashes off at 172, it freezes at 172. And if you take it down to those cold temperatures, well, now you're locking up the entirety of the plant. If if you pour alcohol through there, actually alcohol won't pour it, it'll be like a jello. And when you have that jello hitting the plant material, it takes a long time for you to massage that alcohol into the plant material. So the colder you go, the more work you need to do to massage that plant material and have it homogenize with the alcohol. But the resin that's going to leave from that is just going to be absolutely exquisite. Yeah, because you've got no plant material. It's just cannabinoids. So now we're stepping from this dirty green guy, and now the super critical, like 160s, 160 minus. Now when we start coming back to now, we'll go to 100 and then to 80. And now if we go into dead center, which I call a sweet spot, which is 40C, 40F minus. Okay, so the number 40 minus in Fahrenheit and Celsius, it seems to be a pretty nice place for cannabis, to locking up the majority of the plant material.
What he's referring to is where, Fahrenheit and Celsius have different units, and at that temperature they happen to be the same temperature.
They do.
But
it's really interesting why this happens, and it's why it happens to even, I got my theories, but there's a sweet spot in temperatures. Absolutely.
What's your theory?
I don't know. I have a lot of, I've seen a lot of stuff, man, that this is not by mistake.
Well, we're just observing stuff that exists, so we're not,
How do you get 172 minus alcohol freezes and then 172 Fahrenheit, it flashes? How the fuck does that happen? Who worked that one out? I know, come on, man, this is just a little weird.
So we're just observing things that exist that we don't understand.
It's already been done. It's already been done before. Everything's been done before. You know? So I think when you're looking at that extraction, I think the most important thing is definitely a proof of alcohol. 200 proof if it's under vac, great. If you can't do under a vac, 190 is absolutely will give you the best resin. And then your temperature. Your box freezes minus 12, and then you go up from there.
Now, your equipment actually has the freezing stuff with it, or is that?
No. I just let people know. I would love to.
That's a whole other industrial footprint, probably.
Fuck, man, it's a huge footprint. So I'm designing the weed which now redoing because this has been going for about 2.5 years. This is my very first one, 2.5 years ago it was built.
Literally that one?
This one, literally, about 3 years ago actually. So
every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday, man. Not every. But what happens is I've got a new weed witch coming out just from all the stuff that I've researched, and it'll be coming out probably about maybe a month and a half. I'm going to do a launch on like a, what do you call it, like a fundraiser or whatever. It's not going to get into the world. I'm just going to say, hey guys, if you want this fucking bill, it's too big for me. And if we are going to build the weed witch the way it's going to go, it needs a lot of people input because I've got a certain head that's under pressure, I've got side portholes, I've got everything. So when you buy this unit that I'm designing, this thing's going to be pretty tricky because then you're going to be able to derive any plant material under any temperature.
Well, I am, of course, a chemist of the highest level. I work in a lot of stuff, so we've got just needing help.
Oh, yeah. This what because all I want to do is I'm trying to, and it's going to be just the same pot as this, but when you look at the pot, what I'm doing is I'm putting a whole hat on here. So you've got temperature gauge, you've got bleed ports, you've got vacuum ports.
For alcohol recovery.
For everything. I mean, even putting this thing under pressure or even taking it down to 10 torque. It's just
well, the pressure is how you're going to get colder.
Well, pressure, no, because pressure changes everything in temperature, because the more you drive down something, you understand that, like, when you instead of increasing the pressure, when you decrease the pressure, you can actually take 130 Fahrenheit down to 85 degrees Fahrenheit just by using pressure. Just because you're taking all the molecules.
Well, that's how you dehydrate
the environment. Absolutely.
Pressure and vacuum.
So what I want to do is I want to create a cup that will do everything. So when they put their gallon of alcohol here with about say 80 grams of cannabinoids in that alcohol, and when they take that alcohol down, they'll have a sight glass here, they'll see everything. They'll have a bleeding tube, they'll even have a cork where they can stick it's like a, what would you call it? It's just a removal flush. So basically, the sticky piping unit is something you're looking at. So I'm trying to make it so easy for people.
So say with 80 grams, you get approximately 15 grams of product.
Oh no, 80 grams still. Because what I'm going to show you soon is I'll show you how you fold your alcohol. So you increase the cannabinoid count to alcohol. So it's all parts per million. So the more parts per million of cannabinoids in alcohol, while that's the best way to do it. Why would you want to use so much alcohol with hardly any parts per million of cannabinoids in there? You want to try and condense it, and then when you've got all that condensing, you let it sit for a period of time where it precipitates, and then put it through a filterization or a literization, and then you put it in here.
So 80 grams would produce, was that the 75% thing you were saying, or?
Yeah, well, it's basically, I try, well, the 80% is usually, I'm just giving you averages between 60 and 120 grams that you'll get in about a gallon of alcohol if you do it right.
Oh, that's the final 80 grams.
Yeah, because it's all about folding, which we'll go through.
And then just real quick, how long would that process take?
How long would the process take?
I mean, is that like a day or an hour?
I would say always from the day that, just say hypothetically, if I'm doing 10 pounds today, 7 days it will be finished. Either in a vape pen or in a product or in a form to use. Because you've got a lot of steps in between, because you've got you're freezing your plant material, and then once you freeze it, then you've got the dehydration, and dehydration is probably going to take 3 days. I don't know how you're doing your dehydration. I don't use any vacs or anything like that. I just use an old technique.
Just the dehydrators.
That's it, but you fold it. You get the dehydrators, and then you put your oil down, and then you put it on your silicone mats or whatever it may be, and then you're folding it. You're folding the oil together, and then you're hitting it, and then you're opening it back up. You massaging it on. You're aerating it. So when you're pulling that back out, you see the oil stretch itself out, put it back in the dehydrator at 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and then do it again 2 hours later. So I do that 4 times a day. Naturally aerates the product. So when I bring it back in here, my count of doing the oil is just say 2,200 parts per million of alcohol on the first day. On the third day, it would be down to around about 150 parts on the third day. So I've gone from 2,200 to 150 parts per million, and then by the end of the 5th or 7th day, 0.
Of course, you'd have to be 0 to vape. Right?
No, it doesn't. No, because alcohol, kids are already vaping alcohol in nut cups.
God knows what they're vaping.
But then you can vape alcohol. You can put an essential oil with a little bit of alcohol and vape it, and that's a precursor. You can carry that terpene. Yeah, alcohol's amazing, man. It's really amazing stuff. It's fun. If you can't drink it, don't use it. That goes with CO2 and BHO and all the rest of it. Because when you're pulling out certain slices, with alcohol, you can actually hone in on what you want to pull out, either everything or just.
There's such an unnatural, when you look at the videos of the CO2s, when they're, there's just such an unnatural, I don't know, Anyway.
But doesn't that happen in the smoke? I always say to people, like, oh God, the oil's really clean. Man, look at this, it's great. Yeah, but you know what? How many times do you have to smoke it to have your medication? Because CO2, the highs are very bright and short. It's because of its extraction. When you look at how CO2 extracts plant material, it's only picking up a selective slice of the plant. And that's why you have very good CO2 users or manufacturers to very bad users. It's just like anything. Mm-hmm. You can be good at your extraction knowing whatever method you're doing. But
I did find it curious with the CO2 being able to extract different weights. So CO2 from what I've seen so far might have the best ability to drive off the different weights of cannabinoids at different slices. So, based upon the pressure and the rate, and you could size partition them, whatever that is, whatever those sizes are, it could be partitioned size-wise.
Yep.
That way, and that could be interesting. But the problem is, you're going to get these tiny aliquots, you know, so then you're going to have to just keep sort of collecting, you know, putting a new plant in, separating it out, and then every time you just get a small size aliquot, starting from big to small, you know, and then seeing what those are. CO2 has some promise to me, but I don't know. CO2,
but I don't know. I have my
I remember when we were looking at that video and they got this big wrench there and they're like doing all this and all these gauges and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. They didn't need that 5,000 years ago when they were using marijuana.
Yeah, that's it. But I always say is smoke the product that it's derived from, and you really analyze the smoke. Be very biased about it as well. And you know, when I did this alcohol, I used to go around to all these medical places and just leave my oil there, and I just let people smoke it at these places, and just I asked them just to rate it 1 to 10, and tell me harsh, smooth, you know, whatever, so I can sort of gauge what they're doing. Because doing that for a year, I seen the biggest mindset was a mindset. It was their mindset, because their fucking BHO was like mimicking a sugar molecule, because they always love that sweetness of BHO. Well, it's tricking the brain. You know, it's not your mouth that's tasting the sugar, it's your brain, dickheads. So the BHO molecule, if you're not purging your blood, that's that sweetness that they're getting from BHO. My God, I'm just thinking, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's
really, really silly. So, you know, it's so we're getting back to alcohol. Alcohol is just such a great product for especially cannabis, because, you know, if it's going to be used for medical purposes, well, Jesus Christ, alcohol, once you take that away, there's nothing left behind. You know, you just remove the plant, you just remove what you didn't want to be in the cannabinoid, either it being the chlorophyll, which you give you chlorophyll sickness if you don't like that sort of stuff. And just the good thing about alcohol, it just allows you to homogenize. It didn't even hit to the cannabinoid. Like if you use coconut oil, fractionated coconut oil, you can use anything. Grapeseed, you can use anything to break it down. Kombucha juice.
Yeah. The one batch I did make, I used coconut oil and drove all the alcohol out, and it was still a little thick, but it was close because of the offset of the plant material and coconut oil. So I want to create something that's definitely not any of that propylene glycol or ethylene glycol.
Oh no, and then that's where you're gonna make. That's where you'll make your lifestyle product. Is basically you're looking out for the person. You know, and everybody wants to get that big high effect and all that. I understand it. BHO CO2 won't give you anywhere near the amount of effect that alcohol can give you.
I think we're only in that mindset right now because we weren't able to use it properly, so we were like juveniles, just being stupid.
I think it's bigger than that. I think there's a lot of pushes that are making money, that are bringing BHO here, because they're getting 10,000 times per weight value of that butane product. Like in that small fucking can, they're making 10,000 times more money selling those cans to the idiots than they were selling it for cooking purposes. So
because it's illegal, you know, so now they want to do it. Yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
I mean, but remember when you were a kid, you'd do anything if the opposite of what your parents said.
Yeah.
Right now it's illegal.
Absolutely.
So, we got to get really high, and instead of it being something that's a part of our life and recreational or you know, medical, whatever. So I think it's going to balance out.
It will, and I think education too is a huge thing. You know, I'm sharing education and me sharing with you, because I guarantee you're going to meet a lot of young kids, and just even what I say about what this does to the young kids need to know, and I think they should actually have a choice. They should actually have a choice, that there is a choice that you can smoke alcohol-based products, or you can have the glycol-based products, butane, CO2, whatever it may be. I think if you've got a place where you're looking after the public, I know that in a few years people will start turning to you, because the industry's dirty.
Yeah, that's our fit. You just keep doing what's right, and you'll grow organically, and
You'll grow organically. It's so true, man. It's so true. Because you're looking after the public.
Yeah.
You know, it's great to have a smoke without worrying about, fuck, is this one going to kill me?
If you can deliver something that makes somebody go to sleep easier and wake up right in the morning, then why would they go somewhere else? Like, why would they be like, you know, they're going to keep using the product.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And if you know, because the way you're processing it, the way you're testing it, what you're saying, you know it's a good product, then you know it's going to grow. Yep. Right now, I mean, look at gin, vodka, whiskey, rum, tequila, all these things. The market's huge, and all of them have different uses. We're not all drunk on the side of the road every morning. You know, we drink however we drink, and you know. It's balanced.
We're grown-ups.
Yeah, we know that there's liquor there. If we want it, we can go get it. We can blend it, shoot it, you know, however we want it, we can get it. And some of us have used it, most of us don't.
Yeah, it's going to be, well, anyway, we'll get it started. I'll get the first critical cold through here, and I'm just going to show you just the basics, and then basically ask questions. I'm going to go through some stuff. So yeah, so this is all going to be just very, very simple. I'm going to show you guys, and just ask any questions you may have.
This is these are your frozen alcohol in here.
Yeah. Oh, I've cooled it down. Yeah, it's cooler. And then these guys. And these are just units that I'll show you. It's just holding the plant material. However you hold your plant material, it can be done either way. You can use buckets.
I like that. Are those coffee presses?
Yeah.
Nice.
No, look, mate, you know, I do extractions all over the place, and everyone's got their...
Yeah.
I've been to so many different places, man, and seeing how people do stuff, boy, oh boy.
But you also work on other types of operations that aren't cannabis as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm only doing the cannabis because basically it seems to be like one of the plants out there that is...
You're doing extractions for other things too, like alcohols.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
yeah. I do a lot of
stills.
Yes, I do a lot of stills.
I saw one of your, where you were some guy, he was some new one, and you were like, it's coming to you, here it is, and you were going through it all. It looked like it was a still of some kind. I couldn't exactly tell if it was wine, or I don't know what it was.
Probably vodka.
Vodka, yeah. Looked like a pretty complicated setup.
So anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm putting a little bit in here just to show you guys. And then this is going to be a critical cold. That back. Temperatures, I'm telling you, chlorophyll will only come through with warm temperatures. Like that. Okay. This guy. The dry ice is actually good product, but liquid nitrogen is even better. It just takes everything down really quick. Normally you don't need to do this if you've got roof fridges, but so what I'm doing now is cooling the plant material in. So if this was already in the fridge, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
when you say bone dry, would you probably say like less than 1 or 2%, or have you ever had it?
No, I would say
like flowers are normally sold at like 5 to 7%.
Yeah, it's got that. You can usually tell by it. It's got that spongy. It's about 5%, and then if you can do that and it starts to break, yeah, you're getting a little. But when you touch it, it just crumples to nothing. That's how you want it.
And the stems just snap.
Yeah, and you just imagine all your fridges are all loaded up with your material and whatever your containers, and so you're not doing any of this. And you can usually tell by the temperature, because the thicker the alcohol gets, it gets a very, how would I say, going into like a molasses. That's where you want your alcohol. Between a molasses and a very runny molasses.
So -20.
-20. That -20 is good. Minus, yeah, -20.
You go by Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
You changed?
Yeah, I do now.
I was just checking. I'm guessing New Zealand or Australia? And there, of course, it's Celsius.
Okay.
Which 0 is 32 degrees.
Right. So, all we do now is I'm just going to be pouring my alcohol in.
And I'm guessing the witch extractor, whatever the witch part of it came from this, the witch's cauldron effect of the liquid nitrogen. What do you call it? The witch what?
It's the herbal witch extractor.
The witches. So it had to come from the.
Yeah, because I call it the weed witch because both of them are fucking persecuted. And marijuana's been persecuted for fucking God knows how long, and the witches.
Right.
The people that used to heal the people in the town.
We're the witches.
Well, we are the witches. Right. Jesus Christ, you're the one that's going out stirring the pot.
Right.
You know, so they're both persecuted big time. So I thought, fuck it, let's have fun with this and call it the weed witch.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that name. Yeah. That's good.
And Jesus Christ, mate. So you can see the alcohol's coming out a little thicker. It's not like coming out like water.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got a little bit of thickness to it. And then what I do once they're sitting there for a bit, you stir. So you watch now, you're mixing the plant material. And you do a little So I would let it sit like that for, you can sit it for a short period of time. Again, the time you can sit it for is depending on the time, depending on the temperature that you can call it down to. So the cooler the temperature, the longer the time that you need for it to interact. That's what you got to learn by
So going from like 0 to 20, -20 to -40. Like, do you think doubles the times in there, or like what do you think those units change from, say, 0 to -20 to? Because 0 Fahrenheit is, of course, still quite cold.
Right.
-20 Fahrenheit is now just become. So do you think as you move from 32 to 0 to negative 20, like what do you think the increments of time change are in there? If you have double.
Okay, yeah. So going from minus 10, like just your normal box freezer, and then you're doing a minus 45. Yeah, you're probably looking at around about. If you're doing it at minus 10, probably. You could probably undo it maybe 2 to 5 minutes. Minus 40, it's probably going to take you around about 20 to 25 minutes.
Quite a bit then.
Oh, yeah, huge.
Well, if there's a barrier molecularly, because it doesn't move as much, so it's harder to get through. Ice, for instance, is harder to get through than water.
Right.
So it's just there's a barrier because of the temperature. Probably for the pedestrian product in the middle of the road, probably not so critical. I think 0 or negative 20 is pretty easy to hit. Below that starts to be, like the freezer in the bakery is negative 20.
Yeah.
And that thing is seriously cold. The walk-in freezer is like 0.
Yeah, walk-in freezers are pretty cold.
But not going to be major cold, like not negative 20 and negative.
So there we have it. So they're ready to go. We're going to let them sit for just a tad. Let them stir every now and again. So this is just like your fridge. Eventually we're going to have freezers in here, but just for now this will do it.
Personally, I love the blend of coconut and olive oil.
Olive oil?
Olive oil and coconut oil, because they offset each other enough. It keeps off. If you melt coconut oil into olive oil, it won't ever harden again.
I distill my coconut.
So the actual coconuts?
Well, no, you just when you want your oil to be very pure, you want to use a fractionated coconut oil, where you're removing all the fats. So
I was just talking as like a carrier,
Okay, so we're going to do our first pour. This is going to be so what I do is I do runs. This is my first run. My first run is this alcohol. So if I'm using new alcohol, other than the alcohol I'm using, that's going to be the second run. New alcohol again, that'll be the third run. So this is my first run. This alcohol that I'm using, I'm going to be using over and over again for about 2 or 3 pours, which I'll show you. So the terminology, run, is just new alcohol. So, and then your pools is basically when you're dumping out through a filter, that's your pool, you're pulling it through. And then basically what I'll do is when it filters through there, then I put it back into the package again. So I keep folding my same alcohol over and over. And watching it that I don't have any product will bleed over. Then you're in a water hurt.
just color, or is it a layer?
Yeah, color. Yeah. The good thing about this scaling, people ask you, oh, how much can you do? Well, you can do what we're doing here, 10 grams, or you can do 1,000 grams, all in the same process, all done the same. It's amazing. Scaling this up is just how big you want to take the unit. But when you're scaling, then your temperature changes, because now you've got a bigger environment to keep out. So what I'm saying is, when you're doing this, smaller the environment you're working with, the better for you.
So
you can actually, what you're doing is your education.
So you would almost prefer 3 smaller units than 1 big unit.
Absolutely.
Right? So that
Well, and then again, if you do mess up on the one big unit, well, that's a loss. So you learn what you're doing, because you know, if you're going to be doing 5-pound runs and you fuck up on 5 pounds on good flour, that's 5 pounds you ain't going to get back. Oh, you get the resin, but you won't get the quality. It'll be your Rick Simpson stuff. Still usable, but if you're doing a good product and you want the best out of it and the clarity to be good, it's small is better, so you understand.
What are the sizes that your units are in?
Well, my wind reach is always 1 gallon. But what I'm doing is within about a month and a half, we're going to be going. I'm sourcing out 2 other companies, but I've been using these for about at least 6 months, and they're good. They're just so much better than any other way. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make people that have never done an extraction before to make it easy. They put their plant material in here, they freeze both of it, they pour their alcohol in, swirl it around, tip it out, and whatever they want to do, and they pour that back in, that same alcohol, and break them down again. Just trying to keep it easy. And these coffee percolators are opportunities. Because it filters it and does everything for you.
Yeah.
So we'll go, let's see how this works. So now you're going to see some product coming out. Get some filters. Yeah. The only time that really chlorophyll comes through as well is being exposed to the air. So here we go. You're going to see the first one coming through.
So you think being enclosed in that stainless is also
super gold?
Because the chlorophyll is going to be bright green. Now, do you use obviously, like with all the crazy strains that these kids come up with now, up at the grow operation, it's so funny. They're all like pinky, stinky, train wreck, all these different things. Do you think the different ones have different colors? I know, so stupid, but no, not really.
No, resin from the marijuana plant. Pretty much color is all the same all over the world.
So even if the carotenoids, if it does have a pink tincture to it, the plant, it doesn't come across at this stage?
Yeah, well, colors are really interesting. I don't know too much to comment on that.
Okay.
Colors are really an interesting thing because it's like you see plants from the Afghanistan plants seem to be a little darker in their resin than a plant. Maybe from Gold. Again, I can't quite understand why this is. Is it because of the habitat that they grow up in, or is it because when you do a CBD and a THC, CBD, if it's predominantly more CBD than THC, it's usually darker, and I don't know why. With most of the CBD style plants that I've extracted, the oil resin is a lot darker than THC.
For the straights, and do you have? And so I'm sorry, I think you just said this, but you extract CBD plants.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, low THC.
Low THC, yep. I think I even had a testing in here with high CBD. Where was it? Oh yeah, it's in here. This was a CBD plant that I did for someone. And that was the counts.
Oh, it's still at 59%.
Pretty cool, huh?
Are there people working on higher levels of CBDs in plants, or are they getting them all in the extractions?
Well,
because I mean, right now CBD plants cost more than like CBD per ounce, like it costs more than THC. I don't know the cows.
yeah, for sure.
Just because it's like no salt food, but is more than.
Well, I think it's just the market they're trying to. They're just telling the market that people that are sick, they've got to pay more money to CBD products.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, so you can see it all freezing up there. Mm-hmm. So you'll see in here with the liquid nitrogen, you see the lipids and fats and everything just freezing up. Water solubles, especially lipids and fats are freezing up there. And the alcohol as well. And then you'll see the nice clean product in here.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's really clear.
Okay. And then we'll cook it up and we'll show you what we got. So now, that is my first pull. You understand now?
Yes.
Okay, so first pull. So if I use the same alcohol and put it in the plant material again, that's going to be my second pull. But if I got that away and I got new alcohol here, pour that new alcohol in, that's my second pull. Understand? So I do about 3 months. Sometimes maybe 5 months, depending on the plant material and how cold it comes. I get everything out. I make sure when I'm pouring alcohol through my plant material, if my alcohol is coming back out the same time as I put it in, then I know I can clear all my cannabis.
So would there be a concentration issue to use the same alcohol again in that might not get as much? Is that why you're using fresh alcohol? Because this might be there might be less osmosis going on because there's more particles in it, or why wouldn't you use the same alcohol again?
What I'm trying to do is basically I try to extract as much as I can using the same alcohol, and when I know that there's going to be a cutoff point where I may get some chlorophyll bleeding in, I don't want that. So I try and keep my A grade type window of temperatures, and then I've got that's my first run, and then my second and third run may have a little color variance in it. So I don't want to, and you can blend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs together with all the different pools. It's up to you. I like to segment because I'm making different products.
Right. Is this the 5-pound one?
No, just a still. Yeah, just a still. You can see the chlorophyll coming through now. Because we're not in the fridge and we're open up to the environment, so. Chlorophyll is just the green? Yeah, the green, yeah. Yep, that's it. So you see I've still got the green tinge? Mm-hmm. It's because I didn't lock up completely everything. So you've got a lot of goldish yellow in there, which is your resin. And then basically what you can do is you can sit that in the fridge. If this was for you, if you sit it in the fridge for at least 12 hours, most of the other plant materials that you didn't pick up through the first filtration will drop to the bottom. And then you can put it through coffee filter, or you can do it through a micro.
What if you froze it? Would the phase separate?
If you froze it?
If you got that to -20 or -30?
Yeah, -20. You're not going to freeze up any chlorophyll. Once chlorophyll's released itself, that's it.
You won't get it to
no.
separate.
The only way you're going to do that is through a hydrocarbon or scene.
Okay.
So I'm for what we're doing here, is I'm going to do this still the first run, and I'm going to pour this still again. So it's going to come out a lot darker.
And so this is a second pour.
This is going to be a second pour in the first run. Correct.
And what are the advantages and disadvantages to doing that?
Because I'm using the same alcohol. And what I'm doing is I'm condensing all the cannabinoids in the alcohol. So what I'm doing is I'm not using all that much alcohol to get the resin out of the plant material.
Is there a time when you just can't get any more into alcohol, or is alcohol always going to be almost infinite amount of extraction to it? Or is there like, I don't know, like, I mean, alcohol is this polar concept that, like, is there a certain amount of these other particles that could go into it, or because they all have to stay around the polar nature of the alcohol molecule. So is there like a limit to what alcohol can hold in your experience?
That's a great question. No, you make a that's critical thinking right there. That's beautiful. So you're asking how much can one molecule of alcohol hold to a cannabinoid?
If you've experienced it, I mean, obviously stoichiometry is possible, but who would do that? But if you've seen like where you don't feel like
it's attaching any more molecule of the cannabinoid to the alcohol,
because once alcohol,
how much color?
Because once the polar nature of the alcohol is fractured by other impurities, then it loses the strength of the ability to hold more molecules.
Yeah, and the stripping effect too, because it's sort of filled up with oil and reference before.
So that's going to break. It's like ice. If you put salt in ice, like it has a different structure than when it's just like. That's why ski resorts put ice on snow. It changes the temperature of it, and so this would change the properties of alcohol once it has impurities in it. I mean, alcohol thinks it's an impurity. We think it's not.
Yeah, I think it may. I'm not sure.
Okay. I was just curious if there was you probably have a gut thing that you go by. You don't.
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
I think you have to go by.
Trying to get in your guts.
Yeah, it is. I think plant material, because it's good to have different variants, because an open mind to variants, because no plant material is the same. From growing an indoor hydroponic to someone that's just grown outdoors. I mean, I extracted both plants, and they're fucking totally two different worlds.
Really?
Oh shit, yeah. Just
it'd be the pigments in the crop.
Oh, just everything. Just the density of the plant matter.
Outdoors is more dense. Or?
Oh yeah, way more. I'm not saying all of it, but some of the plants that I've seen that have been grown outdoors, farmed well. I mean,
man-made light could never mimic the molecular response of the sun. The sun is all light possible, and the plants respond to that. Where man-made light is this narrow band of frequency that can't have the depth and energy of the sun.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I see a big difference in oil. Absolutely.
I mean, that's why even if you did 7,000 Afghani and 0 Honduran, like you'd see differences in those as well, because you'd have different. You have an entire.
The intensities, like from a Pakistani strain, and
which grow at 7,000 to 10,000 feet.
Yeah, which would be different from a Washington State grown, like in the fucking up north where it's always
0
fucking cold and So now, this is going to be our next pull. So this should come out just about. And I picked up the chlorophyll this time around. So that's what I was saying, that you just got to work out that if your temperatures aren't tight and you haven't got a good fridge, then doing what I just did then is a no-no. Because, I didn't have a tight temperature and I've allowed some chlorophyll to come through now. But
what's wrong with the chlorophyll then?
Nothing wrong with it. It's just no, absolutely not. No, I try and lock up most of the chlorophyll in this stage because this stage I usually do all my vape pens and just the higher THC product. Because the more chlorophyll you get, the lower the THC.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So.
And then the only way to lock out chlorophyll is through temperature?
Or VHL or CO2.
But that's because CO2, and I really only will talk about CO2, but CO2 is a liquid gas.
Right.
So it behaves like a liquid when it's extracting, and therefore it won't take the wax and the chlorophylls. They're not soluble. And
that's why the CO2 only takes out the THC and the CBD, because that's all it can grab onto.
Because they're not soluble. It's like your washing machine with soap. You know, the dirt goes away in the water and the clothes remain.
Right.
And so you've left the fiber of the
right. And the alcohol takes.
The alcohol isn't as phase specific as CO2.
Phase specific meaning?
Well, because it's a liquid by definition when it's going through the plant material. Where alcohol is not as powerful. But under pressure it could be, couldn't it?
What's that?
Alcohol?
Alcohol under pressure? Alcohol under pressure.
What if you ran it through there under pressure?
Well, see, pressure's not going to change how much it's going to extract.
But
Pressure's just pushing it through a volume of material.
Couldn't it make it less likely for the waxes to go with it? No.
Temperature's going to do that. There you go. There's your frozen. There you go. There's your frozen alcohol.
Wow, that is cool.
Yeah, 172. Maybe all. Yeah, it's cool. And then with your filters, you can keep these filters, and then basically when you have a hit with these filters, and even my plant material like that, and stick it in. And then I just run that all in my weed, which I demoxulate it for at least an hour and a half, everything's activated. And that's my Route 60 style. Suppositories, ointments, meaning for some books.
Ingestion as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you carboxylate something and bake it again, does it affect that?
I don't know. Once you decarboxylate, I don't think you should do it again.
I mean, but if you were to bake it again.
I think if anything, you're going to vapor off maybe what's in there.
If you like brownies, like instead if you.
So you've already cooked it here, and then you make it a brownie and you put it in the oven and cook it again.
Yeah. You don't think it would affect it?
Oh no, absolutely not. No, it just means you've definitely made sure that everything's turned out right.
Because I always worry with baking that you don't get it all. You know what I mean? Like, so every little bit of it is not enough, or anyway. So my thought is to decarboxylate it and bake it.
And are you using this again? Or no?
I'll use it again. Yeah. I just kept it like that because I want to show you the difference in colors. This one's going to be a lot darker.
Gotcha. And it's run to the second time, or for the second time.
Yeah. So it's just showing you that the densities does change dramatically. It's not going to go down. Nice gold to it. We've got a lot of plant material in there. You can lock them up with sitting in the fridge, precipitating, or winterizing.
And then we take this and throw it in there.
Right, absolutely.
Now, how would you use your alcohol to fractionate what you want to take? So say you don't want to make something that's more THC centric than having the whole plant. Can you do that in alcohol as well?
Yeah, but you want a higher percentage.
Say you want to extract more THC than everything else. Say you don't care so much. Say you don't care so much about the whole entire plant. With the RSO, you get like the whole.
Oh yeah. So you just want the good quality of the plant, not the RSO style.
Right. Could that be done with alcohol as well? Absolutely. Yeah. And that's just temperature.
It's all temperature.
It's all temperature. So that's when people talk about that supercritical state that they pull from. It's all the hidden formula of that product.
Yeah,
we pull at this temperature, and that's why our product is this. There's another person who pulls it.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Got it. Nailed it.
Gotcha.
You can see all your lipids, fats, right? You got plant material here.
Now, what would happen if, doing this, we don't take out all the alcohol? Some of it gets into there. Is that?
So it gets into here?
Like, say we were to take this in its state right now, put it with everything else, and there's still a little alcohol in there. Is that an issue? Does it not?
This is all alcohol.
That's all alcohol. Okay. Yeah. And it's gonna further take it off.
That's just where it goes.
Yeah, that's the Rick Simpson stuff. That's my last run. So all the plant material and everything, I just put it in a big container, and when it fills up, then I break everything down, and that's going to be my oil and coffee oil and Rick Simpson stuff.
Do you boil it or bake it?
Which
To decarboxylate?
The English does everything for you, man. You put a gallon of alcohol in here, in an hour and a half, it's turned everything up.
This. Okay.
Yeah, see, this is already frozen, so there's nothing turned over yet. It's all still in acid form. For me to take it from an acid form, I have to put it into.
Right.
So when you put that stuff in here, cooking it for an hour and a half, because they put it on reflux, you don't have the alcohol coming out. You just have it on reflux because you're just cooking it.
Right.
And once it's all cooked for an hour and a half, then I put it through a filter, have the juice come out, put the juice in there. Cook the
I
juice.
see. So you don't distill it out of there, you just boil it in there.
I boil it because I want to activate all the plant material.
Okay, but you could also just boil it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because that's how Rick does. He just boils it on the stove.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah, I was just curious. Because I know I've heard of baking versus
different color. Totally different color.
Yeah.
So you just imagine, I've done some 3-4 pulls on my first run, and I've got it almost, it's like a dark brownish gold, brown, can't see through it. And it's just beautiful, and that's, I think, within a gallon of alcohol out of that, I think I was putting in between 60 and 80 grams. Between 60 and 80 grams out of every gallon. So that's it. But all we do, once that is happening, we just pour it into the whippers like so.
It would be low right now because it's all in there. So then that's why you're low on the stuff.
Okay, we'll get this thing fired up.
And then now you're pulling the alcohol out of that. That's what this step is. This is, if I could talk commercially, this will get you high. This needs to be boiled.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Because that, what was making you high here is in there.
Absolutely.
But this still has some in it. It just has to be converted. Like on this card, if you were working with this card, would you have gotten any of that in this?
Oh yeah.
You would have.
The alcohol won't select.
But when you dab it, you'll get that to there.
Oh no. See, the THC and the CBD, basically alcohol will not decrease or increase any of these.
But I mean, if this was this plant right here,
Yep.
you would have had this much CBD in it.
Correct.
But when you dabbed it, that would go to there.
No.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't go to THC when you dab it.
No. When your CBD will always stay CBD. CBG will always stay CBG. Yeah. Cannabidiol is basically your precursor.
So it's only the delta 8s that go to 9s. I thought that when you carboxylate, are you
Well,
trying?
CBDA is a non-psychoactive CBD. So it's still in an acid form. When you heat it up, you're taking away the acid, you decarboxylate. The carbon molecule.
So this was measured as CBDA because they ran it on a GC.
Yeah, well,
Because they converted the CBDA to THC. So
no. CBD is a constituent of the plant by itself. THC is THC.
Right.
CBD, CBG, CBC, CBN, CBN.
I thought that the definition of the testing was either THC or molecules that convert to THC during the test.
No, it's basically THC-A is its natural form.
Right.
THC-A. When you heat something up as like THC-A, if you heat it up for a period of time, you will remove that A of the acid.
And then you don't have to smoke it. Then
once you decarboxylate, you don't need to smoke it. And that's both for CBD and for THC.
So if you were smoking this right now, what are the molecules?
Well, smoking because you're flashing it. You're heating up the product. So you're smoking it, you're always going to activate whatever molecule is there for THC. So the only time that you're not going to get high is when you don't decarboxylate it, you're eating it or you're putting it on a
And it's just rubbish. Okay.
So it's
Oh, I thought some of these molecules were converting the THC into decarboxylation.
No.
You're saying it's only the THC-A?
Well, always the THC acid, the acid form will always change underneath.
Okay.
And naturally.
Either flame or oven.
And sometimes naturally, being exposed to heat over a period of time of curing, for 6 months, you'll have some of that turn over naturally. Okay, get something lined up, fire it up. Yeah, this takes about 5 minutes. Just pump it straight out. See what's left.
And the alcohol you're going to get out, you would just reuse.
Always.
Yeah.
Always reuse your alcohol. Yeah. I'm going to pour that alcohol.
smart. That way you know the flow. It's hard to know the flow rate without a meter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I work on a lot of distillation equipment.
I do.
Phenols and cyanides.
Oh wow.
But we use metering devices for the flow rate. It's hard to see how much the water's flowing. But with that, you can open it and get a sense of that.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need too much water running through these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you think about it, just remember always temperature. Temperature, temperature, temperature. It's king.
What's the largest, the processing that you've seen people using these with, as far as output? Large operations where you have thousands of plants. Have you seen them use this kind of stuff? Or?
Yeah, because you can scale. You can see one unit. Just say if you want to do 100 grams and you want to do 10,000 grams, well, it's just basically scaling up temperature and alcohol. So if you're going to do, just hypothetically, if you're going to do 2.5 pounds, you're going to need 5 gallons of alcohol. So if you're, and out of that 5 pounds, you'll probably get maybe half a pound to 3/4 pound of oil.
So,
of really good oil. You'll get a lot more than that, but I'm just talking a really, really classy A-grade oil. And then,
and you said 5 pounds of cannabis, 2.5 pounds alcohol, and then 2.5 pounds cannabis, 5 pounds.
Yeah, 2.5 pounds of cannabis, 5 pounds of alcohol.
Okay.
I'm just giving you, because that's enough alcohol to saturate the 2.5 pounds of plant material.
And then, and that produces once again that same sort of 18% ratio that you talked about.
Yeah.
Maybe it was on. Was this not on?
Yeah, it's on, yeah.
Can't tell which one's on, which one's
Oh no, it was off. No, it's off.
Yeah. It's on now?
Now it's on off.
degrees Fahrenheit racing, so far away.
Where do you have the thermometer? Oh, I see. Oh, okay, that's your thermometer. All right. I just wondered what that was. And 172 is obviously where you're targeting.
Yeah.
And blowing over that, does it really do anything, or it's
Oh no, well, the temperature can't go over what it's
right.
It's constituent, what it's volume. So,
Right.
so water's 212.
I know on some stills, it'll take, when you're separating water from alcohol.
Yeah.
So some you do a water extraction, you add alcohol, you macerate, and you boil
I
up the alcohol.
don't do any water extraction. No water extraction.
Anyway, I'm just saying, and in that case, if it goes too far over, it brings water with it. And you want, because water is 212, so you have to keep it well below water boiling. But then the trick, as you know, is that alcohol boiling point rises with more water in it.
Yeah.
So you have to be really careful.
Well, yeah, and once you buy your 190 proof and your plant material is dry enough when you're using it, you won't have any problem about keeping your alcohol at 92 to 95%.
Right.
It is, because every time you redistill it, you're leaving a majority of the water behind. Majority, just say if you did a pound of plant material, just say it was 10% moisture in there, and then you ran the 95% alcohol through it, it's picked up some of that water from the plant material, and it's probably taking your proof down from 95% alcohol to about 92 or 93%. So when you redistill that, it's going to bring it back up.
And do you work also with like lavender and oils and that sort? And would you do basil the same way?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You can do mint, your lavender and your limes, your oranges. You can do critical cold through that as well. Exactly the same process I showed you using those canisters.
Orange peels.
Orange peels, whatever. Yep.
And do you ever see any of those herbs, like rose and any of that stuff with water? Because why do they have some of those with, well, that's steam extraction, right?
Yeah, steam extraction is like when you're going to knock off an oil from lemon.
Yeah. And so in that case, what would happen to cannabis if you steam extracted it?
Try it.
You don't know?
Oh yeah, I know.
What?
You should try it.
Well,
It doesn't work.
I know I've heard that, but what doesn't work about it?
It's because it's not enough pressure.
So you just get all the plant material.
Well, see, the resin you've got to understand, it's a resin. You can't remove a resin with a water solid, especially like that. You can remove some of the flavonoids and the terpenes because they're a water solid.
Right.
So you may have some of those profiles coming over in smell, but you're not going to get any resin.
So then wouldn't there be a high concentration THC left in the plant material? You take everything but the THC out of it?
Well,
I don't know.
Well, I'm not going to say anything. Because you know what? Mate, you know what? It's just so many ways to skin this cat, man. I'm telling you. I have not found... There's no wrong way of doing it. That's what I love about this. There's no wrong way. It's just doing it. But you know what? You may come across... The reason I don't tell everyone to not do it is because they may find a fucking way to do it. And they may help me out. So I never want to say anything I've never tried.
No, I was just curious because everything I read says steam distillation doesn't work.
No, it does. It can work. Steam under 14,000 kPa, which is a lot of pressure, where you can have your water still stay as a liquid at 380 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you mix that water liquid at those temperatures, it's going to knock off those cannabinoids.
But that's a real still. That's
and then again, you wouldn't do it with plant material. You'd probably you'd probably extract your oil first, and then you'd probably steam distill it that way. Because when you steam distill it under 14,000 pounds per square inch, when you're keeping it liquid, and yeah, thanks brother. Yeah, then but yeah, getting to steam distillation. Not for
well,
now.
I was looking,
not for now.
I was looking at a distillation unit that had the ability to do both steam and alcohol recovery, and I just thought it'd be nice for herbs to have, and I was just curious.
That's it there. So that's what's in there. That's your counts.
76%.
So now I'm turning on my tap. It's liquid management tap, and we should have some alcohol coming out. So it just goes to show you 76% THC activated for such a. It's so easy, man. It really is. It's to make a great oil.
It's
really easy.
Precious.
Yeah, it is. So that's it. So that's all we're doing now is we're just running that sucker out.
And can you just explain to me? You're throwing the oil in here, and that's all. That's going to be for your RSO.
Absolutely.
That's the alcohol.
And that's the alcohol.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, because I'm going to need more alcohol to blend
right.
with this.
Now, when this is done here, it's going to be something like that.
Yeah,
There's going to be
only. Well, and it's going to be good to show you that because it's not going to be that color because we've allowed the temperature not to be held. See that temperature in here? Those colors. See that temperature there is minus 40.
Okay.
We've got that.
They got darker.
Well, to get that color. If you're going to go any lower in temperature, like going to minus 20, minus 12, then it's going to end up being darker.
And this is going to be greener and greener and green. Right. So that'll be more golden green. This is more brown because it was colder.
Well, yeah, it's got more of that tinge to it, the goldish brownish, or the I call it it's like a goldish tan.
So then, all of this bucket here, when you have it full, is just going to go into another one of these, or
absolutely?
That's the same process?
When I do another run, like all this spent material in here will go in there, and when I fill up the buckets, then I pour it all back into a unit. We still back. We remove all the lower grade oil with the waxes, plant material, and then that's it. Then we can. But then you don't even throw that stuff away again, because I have cannabis salts in it. So when I've done all my extractions, there's still another part in it. See, people only look at the flower. See, this plant has so many other parts to it. The cannabis salts is in there. You just got to change the pH, and then let it expose itself.
So you will filter this or not filter this?
No, I'll pour everything through it. Yeah, I will filter it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And then you'll take the alcohol away and
just freeze it and get ready for the next one. Yep.
And then
that. That was just all that alcohol came out from making that.
Right. And then the material that you have there will be something that you would carry in an alcohol, or you would. What is the RSO? Is it in alcohol, or what is that in normally? I don't know.
They used to use naphtha or isopropylene. Rick Simpson style is done many ways.
Finishing it off.
But couldn't you just leave it in the alcohol?
Why would you do it?
I mean, and then you just have a little.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's a tincture.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I thought it was. I didn't know.
No, it's like a dark.
But I mean, I didn't know what the carrier was in it.
Oh,
Is it oil then? Okay.
sitting right here needs something.
Well, I mean, it depends. If you're going to
dab it, this is good. But if you want to add it and put it in the
cartridge, it has to go into a carrier.
Well, a carrier, or you just make, I'll leave it at that because there is a way you can do it. You can have your natural resin if you add a few more of your initial terpenes and maybe some lipids, you can loosen up to go in your cartridges.
Right.
It's not having candidates.
I don't have any additives in my cartridge. I don't even smoke my vape pens, but I've got vape pens here. I don't know if you guys smoke. I've got vape pens here and
Well, I think the problem is right now that the carriers they use are so bad. There are good quality carriers that are as natural as the other parts of this plant as well.
The only natural carrier, the only great carriers is natural plants. Like using essential oils derived from steam distillation or grapeseed.
Yeah, definitely it's not propylene glycol.
But then, some of the vape pens I make, I do a lemon lime vape pen, I do a chocolate, I'm going to be doing a chocolate, we've been doing tangerines, orange, I've been doing menthol,
Eucalyptus or?
No, menthol. I used menthol crystals and a little bit of wintergreen.
Eucalyptus, the Australian.
No, I wouldn't put eucalyptus in. I tell you, you can have some fun with your vape pens. I'm telling you, it's
the things to mix the.
Well, that's absolutely because if you start blending essential oils like I have an oil that is for headaches, I have an oil for pain, even menstruation pains for ladies. There's ones even for anxiety. So a lot of the people that don't smoke marijuana, they're not well. They like to smoke it, but they get paranoid.
Or their children.
Yeah, or their children. Yeah. So you don't want that anxiety for them to go through. So if there are 4 essential oils you can mix with cannabis, it takes that anxiety out. And one of them being, of course, ylang-ylang and lavender and things like that are great.
And you similarly do the same. All of these extractions you do on these same things.
Yeah. You can do it with any plant material.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then your alcohol, you can buy that through Hayward, California. It's called Gold Shield in California. That's where you purchase your alcohol. You just pay your federal and state taxes, and then they send you a gallon. Actually, the smallest that they send is 5 gallons, 55 gallons.
We're licensed even at the DEA level as far as chemicals, so we don't have a problem buying drugs. And we, of course, can buy the most purest, A lot of times when we're going, like the mines that we work in, they're analyzing for cyanide.
Because that's how they derive from the separation of silver and gold.
So we have to buy like cyanide standards, so all the fun cyanide compounds. And then some of the stuff that's really weird, like barbituric acid, which is used by crack addicts apparently. I don't even know. Some of the stuff that we use, like, is just strangely something used by crackheads. So it's regulated for that reason only. Like, what is this stupid cop medicine you can't buy anymore, or whatever
Right.
Anyway, stuff like that.
I'll find ways out. This is really dumb.
Speaking of the cough syrup, it's funny, the new product came out, cough syrup based, so it's like grape flavored THC. but mimicking the promethazine, right? It's called promethazine. Mimicking like the bottle, because on the black market, like you buy a bottle of that for like $200-300, So they're mimicking the bottle and making this great flavored THC syrup that you drink.
Yeah, man. I've never seen. I've seen so many different things, man.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I mean, because I travel a lot, and because I'll do this anyway. I'll fucking show anyone this just to help them, and I've seen some fucking crazy ways people are doing shit.
Yeah. What's your favorite way of doing it?
Of taking the cannabinoid, of removing the cannabinoid.
No, actually personal consumption.
Just smoking joints. Yeah, that's the reason that I wanted people to enjoy smoking the joint. A lot of people don't like smoking joints, so I thought, fuck it. Everyone don't like smoking joints, so I'll fucking make an oil like smoking joint. I'll make it 5 times stronger.
Right.
So now I'm making an oil that I can mimic the flower. I would take everything from that flower through all my separations, and then I put it all back together. And you smoke the oil, and it just tastes like the fucking flower. Or the joint.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when I roll big joints, and the first 3 totes you get the flavor, the flavonoids of everything. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, that's first big. That's why you ever notice with Trav, he's always like. The Jamaicans are the same way. They blow out this big and they're opening their mouth and tasting it.
It's beautiful, man. I mean, and that's what I want people to experience when they're smoking an oil. That they can actually, in an oil, you can actually smoke and taste all the flavors. And but that's why the high marks on it.
It's interesting that you were saying with the CO2, the high doesn't last as long.
It doesn't. You should know that.
I know it.
People go.
That's why.
And then I'm watching it. What the fuck, man? You take another fucking 8 years.
Because I started with these pens, the cartridges. You start with them, and it'll hit you first. But then, as you go on, you're smoking this pen the whole entire day, and it's not really getting you that high.
I guarantee you smoke my fucking pen, man. You're not puffing on that.
Well, that's also.
I guarantee.
And that's alcohol distilled pen. There's barely any companies doing it that way, right?
I guarantee you fucking puff on that. I see people that try and do it, and they're sleep in that corner.
Really?
Oh, they're fucked up, man. You got to understand, you smoke. Okay, if I give you a fucking nice joint, okay, just fucking 1 gram.
Yeah.
Me and you smoke, we're gonna get fucking real shit faced, okay? Right. Now I'm gonna get that same fucking marijuana, and I'm gonna multiply it by 5. So how many milligrams are going to take to sit you on your ass?
Yeah.
Right. Because what you're doing is now you're taking that joint with all the flavonoids and terpenes that deliver the high. See, when people make this shit, like BHO, they're stripping out most of the delivery system. The delivery system is so important. The terpenes is what the THC and the CBD ride on to get to your brain. If you haven't got nothing to get there, well, fuck it, it's like playing basketball. No fucking hoop. You're just bouncing the ball.
So shops really aren't educating. I know you touched on that a little bit before, but they're really not educating on different processes and different ways to take it. Nor with
the education is huge.
Yeah.
Mate, I want to fucking. That's what I'd like to even do. What? Fuck, it doesn't pay for me to go out and fucking share. But I would love to fucking make enough money where I can just go and fucking do this anywhere. Right. Just share with people and just show them that there is another way of doing it. You don't need to use that fucking BHO.
So something like this, bought in the store, would be called what? Because you can distill with alcohol and put it in products, right? But you don't really see in the shops the raw oil.
Not yet.
The dab.
Not yet.
You don't see any of that. How come you don't see that though? Because you see, all the
they're all
variants of
they're all
BHO.
do with butane. They're just stupid.
Is there no one doing alcohol? I mean, there's got to be. There's you doing alcohol distillation. There's no one else doing it and selling products.
No,
everyone's doing it and just
no. There's plenty of it, but mostly it's. No, there's plenty of it. There's several large operations selling distillation cannabis equipment. You being what I consider probably the best one, mostly because what I love about your situation is you actually communicate knowledge. You don't just have there's a guy in Cali. If you call him it's yes, no, and the answer is half what you asked, barely. And so you just left feeling cold and dead after talking to him, you know. And so there's this is the predominant way to do it. It's just that this BHO thing has happened only recently.
And the PHO is still equally as bad? Yeah. And that's the protein.
The BHO?
Well, there's something called PHO as well.
Propane.
Mate, it's all Pentane. It's all fucked up. If you don't drink, do you fucking drink Pentane?
No.
I'll give you a fucking bottle of Pentane.
There you go.
Would you fucking drink that? Did you know fucking 100 milligrams of that in your system? You're fucked. Fucked. Dead.
Acid.
Gone.
All that.
Bad news.
Because it all converts to a poison in your body.
Look at that. Fucking Pentane.
Do you know what it converts
I never
to?
use that to fucking remove the
Do you know what it does to you?
What?
Formaldehyde.
Oh yeah, fuck
Turns your
off.
body into formaldehyde.
But that's what happens when you smoke fucking glycol. When you smoke a PG, formaldehyde. When you're cooking it at fucking 240 degrees Fahrenheit, it turns to fucking formaldehyde, you dickheads.
No, I know. I'm surrounded by people that are all on it, and they all just said, I'm like, no fucking.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that again.
You mentioned about the sweetness of the BHO, so Travs tastes really sweet and really good, you know? And that's why.
Well, what's the one thing you've heard out of my mouth since the day you met me about how bad that shit is?
Yeah.
You know, and there's guys that want me to help them with it, and I'm like, no way, I won't even touch it, I won't be around it. And I was on the fence about distillation.
Mate, I knew someone that smoked marijuana and had one hit from a BHO pipe and has never touched marijuana ever again. Fucking skilled shit out. I mean, that's pretty fucked up, man. Someone that really enjoyed a joint here and there and fucking totally turning the other way, man. He just scared him so fucking much, left there for hours in the corner not knowing what the fuck's going on. I mean, it's pretty bad, man. And this is a gentleman that's in his 40s, 50s, has been smoking a long time. And thought, yeah, okay, I'll just try these guys and do it.
I'm with you. I mean, joints are my go-to favorite.
Yeah, man, I love smoking joints, mate. It's just really, really cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find some, let me see if I've got, yeah. I usually keep some, I usually keep a bag of, no, I've got bacon.
How do you move your product? Do you go to an outlet? Or?
No, I do find that too. Hang on.
You smell nothing. Just smell it. Really, it's just alcohol. Just smell it. You don't smell one thing.
Yeah.
You smell butter. That's amazing, isn't it? Yes.
You see that.
That's the trick.
So this is a clean one here, so I'm going to let you guys use this one. Well, actually, they're all pretty fucking clean. No. I don't smoke this. I want to find out which one. Okay. That one there is for anxiety.
And then does the temperature of the burn affect the does the temperature affect how it I'm using affect twice. Does the temperature determine how it affects us?
Yeah.
So if you burn it high or low, you'll have different reactions.
Yeah, so what's going to happen if you don't have a fully decarboxylated, and if you have your pan set at a very low temp, how are you going to turn an acid environment, cannabinoid, into an activated product?
So if you wanted just CBDs for some reason, you would smoke it at a lower temperature?
If you don't want the CBD, you just want to go low temperature. If you're smoking a CBD only, then you take it up to the 400s.
Oh! Okay, yeah, see, I am not fluid with that yet. It's just not, it's not natural to me yet. I'm still...
Do you know what rate those normal batteries that they sell in all the shops are at?
No. There you go.
Wow, thank you very much. I'm excited to share some of your product. Thank you.
Oh yeah, no, you guys are gonna love it. You know, I love people smoking my stuff because this is my life, man. I
never would have. I just assumed you wouldn't. I really
just have a quick puff and
do I hold this down?
Yeah, hold it down. Yeah, just and just have a quick puff and that's gonna be the menthol.
Wow.
And that clears up the nose and nasal, especially, you know, and basically, yeah, it really is pleasant, it's smooth. That's 71%.
That's a beautiful plant.
Okay, now this one's going to be lemon and lime. This one's a big popular one that I'm doing for 502.
What do you mean when you say 502? Retailer. So the temperature goes up when the oil
yeah, I set the beat up. Yeah, you get used to it. When I see it shifting just a degree, I know it's gone. Anyway, so this is another one.
This is lemon lime.
Yep.
Very nice. And you know, from the flavored ones that I've tasted, this has a real essential oil taste to it.
And so it should, because you know what? When you look at the fucking marijuana plant, all the terpenes and flavonoid profile
have lemon oil.
In the cannabis plant, you've got to understand the synergy of the plant. It's fucking everything. It's like this. I see the cannabis plant having just about everything in that fucking plant. That's in all the fruits, chocolates, everything. The cannabis plant's amazing, man.
That's limonolic.
I put a liming in there.
And it's so much better than the synthetic lemon flavor that this.
It's because
even citronella.
I redistill it. I get the
right. No, I get that. Wow, I'm convinced. I'm convinced.
Isn't that funny? No filler.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
I got those done.
You're splitting hairs. You're using a filler, but it's natural.
I'm using. Well, absolutely.
You're breaking down the hardness of it with a natural, less melting point.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's.
Let me ask you one question here. So, the market, what was their reaction to the adding of lemon, adding of mint, adding of menthol, when the market is educated in a way where I go into a store, I want a lemon, like I see a lemon kush, I want it to taste like lemon kush or Trainwreck or the 1,000 other strains. You know, when I see a product, my consumer mind is trained to say, oh, it has lemon in it, I'd rather go for the product that is just straight Trainwreck. I don't want Trainwreck with mint. I want just straight Trainwreck. So what has been your...
I think having a product for everyone. I think you should have a product...
I was just curious what the
that's
market
that's a Cali attitude. I think the Northwest is not in that vein.
I think where it's going is I think just have both.
Right.
The natural plant flavors and derived flavors from whatever you want to make up, like a chocolate mint.
Yeah. I mean, I love that idea. Now, what do you say? Do you say what the product is as well? Do you say it's sour diesel with lemon mint or chocolate mint, or you just call it chocolate mint?
Actually, no, I don't, because I think sativa is all bullshit.
You know that, right? That there's a huge school of thought that disagrees that they even exist.
I so disagree.
No, historically, there's evidence to prove the case.
Really?
Well, because it was an accidental designation initially of indica and sativa based on like some 1670 guy coming over from India who wrote something wrong, and then after that it was separated.
Well, who the fuck, man? Mate, I tell you what, I've had some indicas that will fucking like having a short cup of coffee. Yeah. I mean, I'm bouncing off the fucking wall.
Yeah. I've been in one shop that completely disregards indica sativa, created their own structure system, tested every single flower that comes to their shop, and determines where it sits on their slide. Now, instead of saying,
that was Linnaeus, by the way.
So what slide meaning what?
They have their own scale of like relaxing to like maybe relaxing to euphoric or sleep or something like that. Okay. It was like their own structure that they put in. And then when you look at the buds, you know, this bud will be sitting here, this bud will be sitting here. There's no relevance to it.
It's a ratio, it's this ratio is what they're based on. What I've seen those guys do. They go on these numbers, but these are different. Now there's other numbers that you don't have on here.
Right.
I mean other names here that, and I'm not super fluid with it yet. But there's what is like 17, 18 of them, and they degrade.
There's 24 different terpene profiles we're picking up now. So
are you calling these terpenes?
No.
No, but I'm talking of these, which some of them are they're separated. The THC, one of them is a THC molecule separated that exists as two molecules separately and have different names that together become THC. So they're precursors and degraded products of these that exist chemically and can be tested, right?
Like CBG.
And the list that I've seen was, of course, this long. And
it really depends. Like everything that you see, like CBG, like the CBG, CBN, the THC, CBD, everything is in an acid form and an activated form. So that's why you probably see a list, because they've got an acid form to everything that they got there. THCV.
And depending on how it tests, which is why people want to go to, like, GCs are considered, ironically, down and dirty tests. They're not really an accurate representation of the plant.
Well, I tell you, the lady they had there next door, she is amazing.
I
thought the same thing, but it's the operator.
Oh, right. I know reserve it in temperature.
You look at Peter next door, fucking 40 pages, Princeton University educated. This guy's fucking smart shit. Like, you watch him pump a machine, man, I'm telling you. See, and the good thing about GC, when you look at the machines, it takes 2 steps to get an outcome. If you look at 360 analytics, it takes you 5 steps for an outcome. So that means if it takes 5 steps for an outcome, that means you have 5 different fucking ways you're gonna fuck up. Well, you test another doing 2. See, with their scaling, see, I like it. The quicker you can to get a number, the better. The less protocols you've got to take to get the number, because then there's less play in it. So what they do is they just do a measurement of weight, and then the rest is just flash, because they've weighed the methanol, and then basically what is there, when they flash it, they know exactly what is there. And I think that's brilliant.
Yeah. I think the best way that I never got to see that paperwork, but it's the ICP-MS, which is like $250,000, and there's no used ones. Like, they're only sold new, and that's it. Wow. Damn, that, be careful, it's really strong. Yeah. Wow. But there's still a lot of alcohol in there too. Wow. I know you hear it a lot. I hope you don't get tired of it. That is without a doubt the best extraction of cannabis I've ever seen. And I hope you don't get weary hearing that.
No, man. Look, hey, you know what, man? I just want people to change their habits. You know, just their habits.
You spell that right.
And how they extract. You know, it's so easy to do a good way of extracting that. Just people are just fucking cheating. In the end, they're not going to really cheat anyone. They're going to fucking put themselves in the fucking grave. Pretty cool, huh?
Thank Thank you very much.
So there you go. So then you see everything there. So now the difference in between temperature.
Right.
Now you can see a real color difference. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, how much now? You said it takes now 3 to 5 days to get all the alcohol out of the larger batch of that.
Well, that's a batch, yeah, but that's only that's taken a first day when you do my extraction. See, this is probably rated at say 2,000 to 3,000 parts per million just now. So you give that of alcohol in there. So you give that 2-3 days of folding in a dehydrator or whatever in a dark room. And you keep folding it, you're going to derive that alcohol out of there, and it's going to be down to about 150 parts per million, and then 3 days after that, you'll have 0.
When you say 2 ppm, do you mean 2% as well, or just 2 ppm? What percent of alcohol do you think is there, or is that 2%?
I would say definitely 2%.
2% alcohol. Okay.
Yeah.
By weight, which is what parts per million is by weight. So 2 parts of that mass are alcohol of the weight.
Absolutely. I'd say easy.
I'd say easy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'd say
I would smoke that.
Well, now people.
No, I'm serious.
No. You got to understand. So the federal government says 5,000 parts per million is our alcohol. I'll say that again. 5,000 parts per million.
I know. I work in a regulatory world.
And I don't want fucking anything in there. Jesus.
I mean, I can tell you the parts per million tolerance of cadmium right now.
What?
Cadmium. 800 micrograms per liter.
Oh, cadmium?
Yes, is an action point. So kids eating cadmium off of windowsills and stuff, 200 to 800 micrograms, which is, I'm just saying. And this is 2 ppm, which is like around half of the planet away geometrically. 2 micrograms and 2 ppm, like, anyway. So yeah, so this is, even this is, but God, I can't get over that.
But when you think about it, look, when you think about it, just
I was going to ask you if I could touch it. Do you mind?
Touch it and just bring it out.
I kind of want to touch this stuff over here.
Yeah, now touch it, and you watch it later. Put it in your mouth. Yes, it is. You can watch it later. It's fucking beautiful. That's how it's supposed to be.
And you know, it is largely tasteless, actually, because of this first pour, first set.
Because I removed the terpenes.
Right.
You can keep those terpenes in there, but we remove them.
I wanted to get this liquid just to see if I got any alcohol on that.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, so the alcohol stuff, the liquid stuff is stronger than the harder stuff on the side. Yeah. Interesting.
And then you got the alpha pinene coming through. You can taste that. Alpha pinene's a great carrier too. That just shows you how fucking easy it is, bud. Isn't that cool?
Hey, can we help you pack up and
yeah, for sure, guys, for sure. We just I'm gonna clean just.
I mean, I'll just carry heavy stuff, or I can do whatever. You were gonna probably dump this stuff into here, right?
What I'm actually gonna do? Yeah, we're gonna dump all that stuff into there.
Because I can do that. I work with stuff a lot like this. I'm just trying to help you out.
I really appreciate it.
Probably gotta drive. You care if it goes in the filter, or you don't care?
No, you can just pour it all in there, bro.
What shop sells your pens?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
I think that's the way the law is written. That's why it's written that way. The 1 and 2s and the 3s.
Yeah, my stuff's going to be called ACO.
ACO is what the brand is.
ACO is alcohol clear oil. Because everyone's doing VHO and all that shit. And so ACO is like alcohol clear oil, absolute clear oil, or whatever we want to give it.
Right.
ACO, man, it's going to be huge. That name.
Do you rinse this out, or?
Yeah, I rinse it out. It's okay. That's awesome, brother. Yeah, that's it now. I'll give this a quick rinse. But, yeah, fucking ACO's going to be huge, man. You give me 2 years, you're going to get that name everywhere. I have to fucking trademark. No bastard gets it and messes with it.
Yeah, that is And what's amazing on this is put something that softens it, liquid, I was going to hit the bathroom anyway. Because I feel it's like you smoked a joint, like remember those stinky joints? Let me do a lip crack. See, this is designed to put here. Oh, he poured. Interesting. So he did. So for him, that was just this medium. He just sees it all in his voice. I love that guy. Whether it's in there, whether it's there, or that.
I love the taste of that.
Do you rinse these things out too, or
What's that, brother?
do you rinse these things out too?
Nah, they just go in there, brother.
I mean, we could just leave it. Sometimes having people help you is more of a pain. If,
No, I
if
love
you're done
it.
with
Then
this.
I can bullshit with you while I'm doing this. I don't mind.
That's so nice that they let you come here.
It is. These guys are great, man, because they're all about education. You know, it's all about education.
Well, you know, one of the things that I do, because I do business with a lot of very large corporations, and one of the things that large corporations don't do is educate and service people that are not taking.
A few large corporations are trying to find out what I know. They can go and fuck themselves.
Even if they do, they won't be able to.
No, look, all I tell them, I know what they're trying. It's fine, you know. It's.
But even if they got it, they couldn't spread it like you can because they don't really care about service and education and help. They just want profit. And I steal their customers regularly because I go into labs and I just service them and give beyond what the corporations do for free.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, they're your lifelong customers. Like, and the corporations could be doing that easier. They have more money.
Why don't they do it, huh? Isn't that interesting?
I mean, you would think that even just to make more money, they would figure it out. You know what I mean? Now, is this the actual this is the 1 gallon size?
Yeah.
And you think that the 5 gallon is really too big production-wise? Or if you got your system down, do you think you could do it?
5 gallon, man, I'm telling you. You know,
Maybe.
making thousands and thousands of grams a day of oil just means that you just got to multiply the wheat witch to being one more. So if I've got a back wall of 10 wheat witches, each wheat witches has a minimum between an 80 and 120 milligrams in each. So in every hour and a half, I'm pulling off.
So you'd put 10 of these rather than 5.
I manifold. Oh, manifold the wheat witches at different places.
So it's all of the extraction, not this. I mean, it's in the alcohol step, which is a completely different
Yeah, no, it's the alcohol extraction is what's going to give you the great oil. Doing it in small steps where you're not cooking off the oil, or you know,
And then what's the size?
it's keeping the integrity of the oil.
What's the size of the one you've got coming out?
That one's going to be the same as the 1 gallon, the wheat witch that's coming out that I'm doing is going to be 1 gallon, and then I have a bigger one.
Nice. Did you want this over here?
Yep. No, let's go, guys. We'll put it in there. Yeah, mate. Mate. It's good. But it's really, man. I'm telling you, it's just a reduction tool. That's all the wheat witch is. The most important thing that you need to know is your fridges. That's the most important thing, folks. Your fridges. You haven't got the fridges, you know, you're in a world of hurt, mate, because that's what keeps all your temperatures down.
Yeah. The limiting step is not the alcohol part, it's it's not that part. So really you just need a team of migrant workers. I mean, we live in rural Washington.
You do? You live in rural?
Rural Washington and Oregon, and even the local, everybody's just indigent migrant workers out there.